Hey guys, welcome to hey guys, welcome to some Raid Shadow Legends. Today's video, we're going to be really going through the live stream. This is the first one that we've done on the channel, so I want to check it out. Now, as you can see, we did start a brand new account, FHG Raids. This is going to be the account. Now, we also do have the referral program in here. I can drop the link. That way you can play along with me. Let me go ahead and post that one in the comments. That way you can play along. That way you can get the referral link. And I want to talk about a couple things that we noticed. So we started this game probably about 5 or 6 days ago. And as it sits right now, we started this account actually about 8 hours ago. 22 levels. We're making a ton of progression. And we almost have the gem mine unlocked. And looking at the resources that we have in here, collecting up a lot. We're going in the Guardian Ring. We're building this up and upgrading these heroes in their entirety. And I want to show you what we started with. Now, this is the biggest game changer as a free-to-play player that we really have is the champions, and the champions we selected in here, or we got Supreme Galek. Now, this hero is just super broken when it comes to the AoE ability that he does possess, does an incredible amount of damage, has the ability to actually buff himself. Absolutely loving this hero. Now, we also got El Rare. I'm going to absolutely crush the names here because I'm absolutely horrible in the pronunciation. Elan Ariel looks awesome, guys. When you talk about the heroes that are within Raid or the champions, guys, they look just absolutely stunning. The combat is amazing in here, and it's a big difference from what I'm used to playing. But then, of course, we have Kale. Kale is a hero. Kale is always a very, very strong go-to. He is one of the biggest heroes that we've had, and we've been building him up. You can see we don't have any accessories for him yet because we are literally just a couple days in now. Also, or excuse me, a couple hours in. Also, we did get to Gore. Now, he is skill-wise one of the best heroes. Now, one of the big things with him has, of course, the big debuff or the big buff to defense in there, increases the speed, but this is the rise and fight. Now, this occurs every 7 turns where if your heroes are dead, he will bring the champions back to life, which is kind of crazy. Being able to go in here and build this out and have him is a game changer. It is an absolute game changer when it comes to formations with the ability, because if I have 1 or 2 of my champions that die, he does resurrect them. Huge, huge hero to get. Then we have this one, and this is actually the last one that we got, which was the Mausoleum Mage. Now, you can see already at level 27, does have a little bit of a decreased speed in here, but also does have the ability to get him ascended. Now, I've been looking at a couple of these skills. You can see we do need 3 of the ascended stars on here, so we're going to have to build them out a little bit further to place that 30% increased crit rating buff and his 60% defense on allies for 2 turns. Now, that is awesome. So adding that up, and it also blocks the debuffs. That is huge. I mean, increase to crit. When we look at the ability to get really these 2 attackers, these 2 legendary attackers that we have to do a lot more damage, this is exactly how we're doing it. It's very interesting to see, but this is exactly how we're doing it. Is we have the support rate here. Then, of course, we have this hero as kind of a buffer, a little bit of a debuffer, a little bit of a buffer. And then if we are running 5 in a lot of different combat, you can see we do have Kale as our attacker. Now, I came in here and I did the boss, and I wish I would have waited a little bit. But the clan bosses on the other account that we were playing for 5 days was scoring about 1 million. Now, looking at here on where we actually scored within here, looking at the very basic, we're at 1.72 million with 1 key. So literally starting with those legendary champions, and you can see they're on 38, 36. So we already gained a lot of levels from here. But starting with those legendary champions and getting the other champions, we have almost doubled the amount of damage that we're doing in these bosses, literally from just building these heroes out. Now, normal, I went in here, we did another 1 million in normal, which means we're going to get another chest right in here, the add-up chest. That way we get some more resources. And the game is about farming. Now, when I think of games in constant progression, going through tower progression, going through floors, going through a lot of different areas, it is about really the constant progression. In this game, the big change with it is it's a lot about the farming. When we start looking at the farming, going through normal, going through hard, brutal, nightmare, going through here and farming this out in its entirety does take a considerable amount of time, but that is what the game is all about. Let's start into chapter 11. And I'm almost thinking we can go through here and we can farm for a little while, see exactly what we can get now, because I already have Kale at the maximum level, 40 at 4 stars. And remember, these can go to 50 because they're at 5 stars. I've actually been dropping in my double support heroes, been going through the content relatively easy, trying to get some more levels on these heroes specifically. Now, again, when you think of combat, I'm just going through here right now and we're just auto battling. But look at the graphics. This is what kind of blew me away when I started playing Raid, is looking at the heroes, looking at the gameplay specifically, and looking at how amazing these champions look. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy versus seeing them, 2D versus 3D, kind of being more realistic. And I can see why so many players absolutely love this game. So far, I know we got a lot of new people that are coming from my channel and a lot of people who are joining this channel that have tried out Raid and have said, it's really a breath of fresh air, which is incredible because the game is on the 6th anniversary. I think, again, 6 years ago when I started AFK Arena, kind of crazy that Raid started Raid about the same time. I believe it was roughly a month earlier, and just where the games have kind of progressed, because we know some of the content that we see goes through and it kind of releases one hero at a time. We get one hero in AFK Arena pretty much every 2 weeks, like clockwork. It's gotten very difficult to get the heroes, however, but in this game, you only need the one hero. That's the big difference. When you look at games that are giving you, start out with 1,000 summons, it's kind of crazy to think, getting that 1,000 summons out of the gate, but it's because you need 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 copies of heroes to actually progress, actually use the hero. Now, what I noticed again, very early within here is when you get a hero, even when you add another star to the hero goes back to level 1, they still have viability. You're not locked behind anything. You're not locked in getting heroes that essentially have no viability or have no utility within game modes. That is a really, really big difference when it comes to Raid, is these heroes, even at a very minimal level, the utility is there for a lot of them, which I really do like. Now, when we start getting into the depth of the game, this is, again, where it does get kind of intense. It gets kind of crazy. When you start looking at gear and the ability to get gear or artifacts, I believe that's what they call them in here. Again, we have champions and we have artifacts. When you start getting artifacts, you can level up artifacts like crazy. You can change the stats on there. You can get a lot of different artifacts that have a lot of different abilities. And there are so many combinations. It's not like, for instance, when you get a piece of gear and you level it up, to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, and then the gear's complete. That's it. You'll never touch the gear again, is going to sit. The gear in here is so crazy dependent on how you build the gear, what stats you get in there, what stats you want to re-roll. And then, of course, getting into the whole artifact system. Not even going to really break into that right now because there is just an incredible, incredible amount of content that even me personally, again, a week into Raid, I don't understand a lot of it. Fundamentally, I do, just because I've played similar games. We've been playing games like this, mobile games, for years. I'm talking probably 10, 15 years at this point, but I am absolutely loving the gameplay in here. Going through, if we take it off auto and thinking of the things that you can actually do with the champions themselves, being able to turn on and off abilities, being able to kind of customize, again, how exactly you're going to go through, what the gameplay is going to look like, is crazy. It's crazy to see how in-depth and how you can build out champions in here and how it really does affect everything that you do in this game. And looking at the buffs, looking at the debuffs, looking at how you can kind of swing battle in a bunch of different ways. Now, I do want to work on building up a couple of these champions a little bit further, just because we want to add some stars on them. We want to build them, but I don't want to overstep building, because I focus on one champion at a time. I don't know if that's how we're going to do it here. I don't know if that's how it kind of needs to be done, but traditionally focusing on one champion at a time keeps you from spreading all of your resources very, very thin and not having the ability to build out, or essentially have a bunch of champions that are half built, instead of having some champions that are really going to carry through a lot of content. And I know, again, watching videos, looking at websites, looking at a couple different things, that they have a lot of utility in this game for a ton of different champions in here. Now, we're already on 11-6. I feel like we can break through here. And the reason why I'm pushing this, and again, this account we created about 3 o'clock. I'd say about 3 o'clock. And right now it is 9:30. So, I mean, we're talking about 6 hours in, not even 8 hours in. But thinking about building this out is I want to get to the point to unlock the gem mine. Now, some players are saying don't unlock the gem mine. There's no reason to. For me, being an investor, being a banker, I go in and I look for dividends. I look for the places that I can get my return and how long is it going to take me? So if I put 500 of my gems in there, how long is it going to take me to yield and get those 500 gems back? There is kind of a break-even point when it comes to the investment in there. And I want to get that break-even point as soon as possible, because the earlier that you're unlocking that gem mine, the more gems you're going to have forever. And of course, I found out through the other gameplay that it only takes 1,500 gems to go in there and max out the mine, meaning getting that mine to level 3, you're going to create a gem, I believe about 1 hour. So you figure roughly 500 hours, again, kind of estimation, 1,500 hours of gameplay if you're playing on a regular basis is going to replace all of the gems that you get after that time frame. So after that 1,500 where we're creating the gems, it is all bonus. It is all money after that point, because you're just going to be stacking additional gems kind of over and over and over. And that's where I want to get to. Being, again, with this account, we are going to keep it free to play. And I say as long as possible. I don't plan to put anything in raid. I know this game can be and is very pay to win for a lot of different categories. But I also know players that do incredibly, incredibly well when it comes to content. It's not so much about the money that you're putting in there unless it's PvP. PvP has always been the humongous, absolute, probably biggest sink that I've seen within games themselves. It is massive how much money people can put into these games, especially when it comes to wanting to be competitive within the PvP aspect. Now, me personally, never been a huge fan of PvP. I don't PvP in most of the games that I play. However, I am seeing right off the bat that it is going to be very important to focus and really look at the PvP aspect in raid. I can see, again, because of the rewards that it's yielding with different levels and having the ability to build up essentially all of your champions within this game, PvP is going to be something that is going to be on a daily basis. That is going to have to be and really focus on a constant basis to be able to build it up. Because when I start looking bigger picture at like the affinities that we have within this game, it's incredible. And again, I was just doing kind of a rough calculation where, if we have the 4 different variations of heroes, and then we have all of their stats, and you have to get those stats or you can build them up to essentially maxing them out to 10. How many emblems is it going to take on a PvP aspect? It's a ton. There is an absolute crazy amount of those arena emblems that you're going to have to do to essentially max this out in its entirety. Definitely going to be very, very cool to see. But I want to finish this out. I want to get through chapter 12, as we see right here, or stage 12, unlocking the next level. Now, of course, when you start this game, when you start making progression very solid, you want to get to brutal, and I believe it's brutal 12-3. That is the farming point. Everyone has said, and again, multiple videos, multiple places, everybody has said when you get to that point within the game itself, that is the point where you want to farm, which is this stage. So 12-3. Now, right now we're on normal. We want to farm this at 12-3 on brutal. And that is where you will farm for all of your food in the entirety for pretty much even going further into Nightmare. A lot of players are saying 12-3 is the sweet spot within here. Not only do you get the shield from running through here, the shield yields, of course, a little bit more silver. So if you're farming silver, you can make a big difference. But farming levels in this game, like I said earlier, it is about farming. There is a crazy amount of content that has to be farmed to build up some of these champions. And I will show you exactly what we're talking about when it comes to farming this up and exactly what it does look like, because farming in here, yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of farming. This is a big, big dedication to the content. New channel, completely revamped for Raid Shadow Legends. And there is a lot to this game. And I want to kind of break it down and show you. There we go. So we got all the way through stage number 3. And again, going through here, we want to farm up a couple more diamonds. We're at 490. Oh, we're 10 away, guys. We're 10. We need 210 right there. We could probably farm some of those through and pick up some more of those, because we are at, what are we at, 181. We need 210. I don't think there's anywhere else. Let me see if I can find a place that we can get 10 of those diamonds again to unlock the mine in the entirety, because I think I did the dailies. Now right here, I have to wait to get these 10, and that really sucks because we already used our keys on the Demon Lord. We don't have the ability to actually do it again. Now in the quest, the daily quests again are done. Those are the 10 diamonds right there. These ones, unfortunately, not yielding us any. Upgraded champion to rank 5. That's probably going to take a little bit. Advanced, of course, is locked at this point. Let's see the challenges. Do we have anything in here that is literally just going to yield us a couple of our gems? I don't see anything, even the passes. Do we have anything in here that is gems, which we do not? Even here, just more points. We do not. Looks like we're going to be stuck trying to scrounge up for these very last 10, but they're going to come with time. I mean, we could even go in there looking at some of the dungeons. Again, I don't think any of the dungeons are yielding any of our gems specifically, so we're going to have to wait, farm up the campaign. Again, 6 hours in, this is where we really want to spend our time, going through here and seeing if we can go through here, make some more levels, farm up some more of this content, and getting through a lot of here. Now look at the increased attack speed right there. We have the big AoE, and we also have my level 29 mage rate up there. Takes a lot of damage, got the shielding, but there is the crit rate. So when we start getting to the point of building up the crit rate, being able to amplify the damage that these champions are doing is going to make a big difference. It really does. And these little succubus right up here, very, very tough to deal with. You can see I clicked on it because I want to kill this one first. If we're doing like the instant attacks, definitely want to take that one. And you can see, guys, we can click to target exactly which one we want to. Got some remove buffs right there, or remove some of our debuffs right there. And then triple attack takes down one of our heroes. But I'm okay. I'm not farming it right now to finish out the stars, to finish out everything else, because if one dies, we only get 1 star. But there is an incubus. There is a new champion that we do pick out. I'm thinking we can finish this out. I'm thinking we are honestly getting pretty close to this. There's our speed buff. Boom. Big AoE with the heroes. And I am impressed with how strong these heroes are. When it comes to here, again, we could take this off auto. We could go through, kind of do this manually to get through. It would make a big difference here. But right there is the succubus. That electric storm does quite a bit of damage. We'll take her out first. And then look, because I feel like we can get into the next section, start farming out that next section. Once we gain levels, we can actually circle back with a couple of our AoE heroes. We can put, some of our stronger champions in here, and we can go through and we can farm out this content pretty quick, getting all 3 stars in here. Because if you remember, all 3 stars does only require 2 of our champions. We cannot use more than 2 of the champions. 12-6, almost done, guys. We are getting very, very close. And honestly, if you've been playing Raid for a little bit, if you've been playing it for a while, let me know in the comments some of the tips, some of the tricks, some of the things that helped you along, because making progression in here, I know it's going to take some time, but the more that I share, the more content that we create, the more we really go through here and see, the easier it becomes going through here and getting these champions. And of course, when it comes to summons, you have to make champions, you have to make teams with what you have. That's again a big thing that I noticed really early, is getting all of these champions and getting them really early. You have to kind of utilize what you have with knowing that we have, legendary champions, knowing we have mythic champions. The chances of getting them are incredibly low. And then of course, getting some of the champions that are specifically the champion that you're looking for, again, is another one that is incredibly hard to do in this game, kind of to pinpoint exactly who you're going to build or how you're going to build them, because you never know what's going to drop. Every time you're doing summons in here, it is a random chance to get. And if you're unfamiliar, if you look through the list, I kind of say this with a grain of salt. There's 800 plus champions. So when you think of the ability, again, to pull specific champions, incredibly difficult to do. Being able to have and get the champion exactly that you're looking for. So again, that really gives way though. And I love the fact that a lot of the rare champions have a ton of utility in this game. Again, thinking of games that I've played in the past, rare champions really have nothing. 1 or 2 copies of a champion really do or have nothing. This game, really making the best of it with the champions we have, being able to utilize the champions. And there we go. So we got through the first part, we got through the story, and I've been playing, watching the story, paying attention to it a little bit. So that takes us through, that gets our first Void Shard. Now, again, looking at content, looking at what players have said, is going through here and making sure that we do not use our shards outside of events. So right now you can see boosted summons, but looking at what our boosted summons are, it is the sacred shard type right here. Epic goes to 88, legendary to 12. I do not have any of the sacred shards, no primordial. We got the void, but waiting till essentially these numbers are higher within here to do the summons. And again, I have patience forever. So literally we could sit here and really stockpile a ton of these shards before we summon anyone. Then I was going through kind of looking at the heroes for the fusion. This is crazy. When you look at the ability to fuse these different champions together, and then taking all 4 of these champions to build them even higher, it's crazy. It's crazy to think how much it's going to take. Because even looking down here, just at one champion right here, for instance, looking at the support champion, you have to get the champion to 5 stars. Then you have to build the champion out. Again, if you're kind of unfamiliar with. So getting the champion, getting like right here, Galek, all the way up to 5 stars. Then you got to get the max level. Then you got to get them ascended all the way up to that 5 purple stars, getting them ascended. Then you can use the champion for food. And as you've seen in there, it takes 4 champions to fuse into a higher level champion. So just the time itself to get all of the resources, to get all of these built up, even looking at the upgrading, when you start really rolling this downhill on what it's going to take to get essentially a 6-star champion that is ascended, you're probably talking hundreds of hours and hundreds of farm time. Because if you're unfamiliar, your ones, and even looking at our very basic champions with 1 stars, can't be ascended. But when it comes to leveling these champions up, they have to be at a max level to consume other champions. So when we start looking at 2 stars, again, they have to be at the max level to take 2 stars to 3 stars, 3 stars to 4 stars, all the way up to 6 stars within the champions. Again, farming food, farming levels, farming champions is going to take an incredible amount of time. Then we, of course, build in with the rank, building it up a little bit further. Then we have the skills as well. You can see we don't have any totems because this is a legendary champion. When it came to building out KO, we actually have a couple right here. I'm saving those just in case we do need them for the progression rewards out of the mission. Right here, we have to wait in new tournament position number 2. We can definitely get to number 1. Like I said, we're about 6 hours in, but we are 10 diamond shy right here, which of course that Demon Lord, but I think I have 4 more hours, maybe three more hours on a key. So we'll get the key, we'll get those resources. We'll be able to fire up the gem mine in its entirety, which is going to be awesome. Like I said, the return on this. So if you're looking at, utilizing your 500 gems right here, you're getting 1 gem every, 4 hours, 4 hours, 48 minutes. So definitely not very good with the level 1 gem mine. But what time is it going to take to essentially get all of those gems back that you used? And there's going to be a point in time where, again, is kind of the break-even point of building out the gem mine, where you're going to be getting gems and getting over the 1,500 that you put in here on a regular basis. Like I said, I got this gem mine to level 2. Getting this up to level 3 was a little bit over an hour to actually build this out. Meaning if we're getting a gem every single hour with a capacity of 15, logging on multiple times a day, making sure this is not filling up and sitting at 15, you can get your gems back incredibly fast. Once I get the gem mine built, my plan is to hop over, use up and unlock a couple more places within the Guardian Ring. That way we can start not only farming food in that stage, that 12-3 stage, but we can also get EXP when I'm offline or when I have the game closed, when I'm at work, school, whatever. We can actually have this built. Now, looking at a lot of other places in here, it's incredible. It's incredible how much and how in-depth this game is. Empower Mythic, Legendary, and Mythic Guardians by using duplicate champions. Again, I haven't unpacked any of this. I haven't gotten in here and been able to see exactly what this is because we're only on level 23 right now, but we're definitely making a lot more progression in here, and it's a ton of fun. Even tournament, we just kicked it into number 2, which is giving us 75 gems. But I feel like Dresbert, I'm coming for you, Dresbert. We're going to make a lot more progression. 1 day, 16 hours since we've logged on, have all the rewards. And then we've also been farming in the rest of the events. Now, events are the bread and butter. When I come from AFK Arena, coming into Raid, playing both of the games together, events are always, always, always the absolute bread and butter. And if we get a little bit more in here, look at that. So how to get these points? Earn event points by looting artifacts from dungeons, campaign locations. So making a lot more progression is going to give us the ability to get these a lot higher, farming out these. And honestly, there's 6 hours left. Probably not going to do this one because the event was more than half over when I started. But the Fusion warm-up event, you can see already getting an already capped 30 right here, starting to get into this bottom part by upgrading artifacts. And that was literally upgrading all of these artifacts that we got was going through the mission itself. So again, we have to break this one into the Demon Lord. Then we're picking up another 300 gems right there, which is only going to put us 200 shy of getting that level 2 gem mine. So it's coming pretty quick. And then, of course, we have another legendary support hero down here, which I need to get these legendary support heroes. Right now, we're rolling with our support heroes, and I'm happy with them. And they're working very, very well. We have Tagore, and then we also do have the secondary support hero, which is Muslim Mage, as we see right here. So definitely going to have to build them up quite a bit. And I want to save all of the rare. Want to save the rare heroes. Don't want to use all of my resources. And again, a lot of rare heroes. I don't know that much about the rare heroes, but a lot of the rare heroes I don't want to use for food. I want to use all of these bottom heroes because there are different game modes where some of the rare heroes are essentially used in different places. Let me get some more Ascension on here. Champion, Legend, Complete. There we go. Adding some more attack, some more HP, some more defense. And I've been farming these up quite a bit. So let's add a couple on here just to get them built up. Any way that we can keep my team alive, I am all about it. Even right there, we have 3. That takes them up to 3 stars. Yeah, getting some more HP, getting some more attack. And in here, I've been waiting and trying to farm up some of these potions. I don't want to use them in the potion mixer. So there is the ability right here within the potion mixer. I can use, and it's 10-1. It's as you can see right here, it is a 10-1 ratio to build these up to get these higher level potions. Honestly, starting out just literally hours ago, we're at the point where I can actually farm these. I don't know how, and I wonder if it shows probabilities in here. I was kind of wondering, what is the probability of getting these to drop? I don't know. Usually it would say like what the probability or what the chance is, but we can actually farm this out quite a bit. I tried stage 9 and I'm really getting all of these through stage 8, which reminds me, we do have another quest to get all of these through stage 8. So I can run in here. Now, of course, we have a really solid team that we're running in here because we have 2 support, 1 a buffer, 1 a reviver, 1 a healer, 2 damage dealers, or essentially 3 damage dealers. Going through here is going to be incredibly easy to get through the content because it's super low level. So what I do through here is I go through and I farm all of the levels that I have available, all the levels that I can get, going through, doing next, doing next, doing next, until the point that I see a defeat. I try it probably 2 or 3 times with the defeat, see if we can get through there. If we cannot get through the content, meaning that I need more levels, I need more builds, I need a lot stronger champions in here, I actually go back, backtrack probably a stage or 2, farm it a little bit, looking for the resources that I got. That way, I know I'm going in there and I'm getting the victories versus going in there and getting defeats kind of over and over and over. And I'm also saving the quick rewards. If you've seen, you have the ability to auto farm, kind of AFK auto farm. It's a really cool feature. And I like that I can do this because I play this on my PC. Don't play it on my tablet. I don't play it on my phone. It gives me the ability to literally just set here and let the game run, which makes a big difference because I'm not killing my battery. I'm not, decimating my phone. I can sit here and I can let this run in the entirety. And I feel like right now we're at stage about 8 or 9 is where we can kind of farm to. And I want to go through and farm all these because I know there was rewards for getting, I believe, through floor 3. I think it might have been 3 or 6 to actually farm this out. But I knew today I wanted to come on here, wanted to do a live stream with you guys, because we're going through the content anyways. This is the same reason I love to be on here. I love to do live streams, love to be able to chat with you guys in here. It's cool to see the progression. And looking back, that's one of the big things. Again, I played AFK Arena for 6 years, if you're unfamiliar with the channel. But when you start looking back, months, even years, with the content that you produce through the gameplay, where your heroes were at, just like here with the champions, seeing where you were building out, how you built them out, mistakes that you made, ways to correct them. That's the reason why we started this new free-to-play account, was having and getting these champions out day one is broken. It is very, very broken to go in here and be able to farm with legendary and epic champions off the bat. If you remember the start of the other account, we only have one, and we only pulled one. Lucky enough to get that epic champion, but that's all we had. We only had that one epic champion at all. Of course, we got some spam, and I joined a clan. So I actually joined a level 7 clan. A lot of people said to look for higher level clans. So I did just that. And as you can see, when we were looking at the boss, we got through. The easy boss is dead. The normal boss is almost dead as well. Making sure you're in an active clan, not only getting the ability to really go through and kill out those clan bosses, which is huge, huge, huge rewards out of there, but also being able to talk to people who knew more about Raid and know more about Raid than I do. So again, going through here, feel like we can farm a couple more stages in here, and it's going through pretty quick. I love they give you the timer. I love they give you the rounds to go in here and build this out. And again, the graphics in this game are just absolutely broken. It looks so awesome. This is almost like King Arthur. I mean, that's what I would almost look. I'm not sure the name of the NPC, but it looks like a King Arthur. I love the flaming sword, the fire aura. It's really, really cool to see, guys. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun to see. All right, so I think we're going to get him down pretty easy. Got him poisoned up, and I have 2 of my champions that actually do poison. So what are we on? Stage number 8. Should be able to get through this one. And I feel like in rotation, you can just kind of go through and farm what you need to. So again, we're looking for resources. We're looking to add a little bit more ascended levels on these champions, which we'll be able to do relatively easy because we can farm exactly what we need with the team that we have. There's the poison that goes up. And also looking at the abilities right here, attacks all enemies, 75% less damage against targets who have active buffs. We have a lot of buffs in here. This 60% increase to defense, 30% increase to speed, being able to clear off those debuffs. And then I notice, I think this one is on all of the bosses, that essentially you can't crowd control them. It is really the big thing here. But look, we got the HP burns up. We got the defensive and the speed on the target. Goes down one more time, giving us, of course, some more tournament points. Again, we're coming for that number 1 slot within those tournament points. Got the buffs, got the speeds right off the bat. And again, thinking about earlier raid, getting to the point of putting some of the speed, putting some of the life artifacts on some of the support champions that we have in here, putting some of the crit, like this hero right down here. And I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar with some of the names in here, but going through, adding some more crit and getting the crit very high, got the poison on there. And then, of course, just building out a pure damage monster. I feel like running double support in here and then 3 damage dealers. Again, we could change up the variation depending on exactly what we have, but it's working very, very well going through the content. And again, I feel like starting over was probably one of the best moves that I've made so far in Raid, because I was able to come in here with these legendary heroes and just crush it. I'm curious if you guys have Wukong, because I had a choice between the Supreme Galek, which we have right here, and then I had a choice between that and Wukong. Don't know which one is effective. A lot of players were saying to get the Supreme Galek versus Wukong, but I am a huge, huge fan of Wukong. I love the game. Game just came out with a Dark Wukong, so I do love the ability to get Wukong. But I don't know. I don't know if I made the right choice to go in and essentially pick up the champion that we did, but I'm loving it so far. the double AoE that he has works super, super well to burn down some of these enemies. And what are we on? I think this is 9. I'm wondering if this boss is not as strong as we see with some of the other ones. Because it doesn't seem like, especially because 75% less damage against targets who have active buffs. Again, we usually have some buffs up in here. That one we didn't. But that we took a lot of damage. There's the decreased attack, which we can clean the buffs off. So there's a buff right there. Yeah, this might be. And this is where I've been kind of getting stuck as it sits right now. So we got the speed buff up. So if he attacks again, 75% less damage. Got the attack buff up, defense buff up. Yeah, I feel like we might not be able to get this one down. We need some more healing. Now, come on. We also need the revive. I want to see aid the feeble, rise and fight, brought them all back to life. Ooh, that might be a game changer in here. I love that it brought him back to life. Not only that is they came back shielded. So they did come back shielded in there. So again, a lot less damage for that shield. Got a pretty decent heal. I think we got this one. Got some poison up on him. It's going to be close. It's going to be close, but I think we do have this one. Yeah, and it's crazy to be, again, just a couple hours. There we go. So we hit max level. Going to have to add some more of the stars on him to be able to get him up to 50, then get him up to 60. And Kale is the one that we want to focus on really first. So we got through 10 stages. I know that last one was a little bit iffy in there for those arcane potions, but we did knock out 10 stages in the entirety. Going through, cleaning up some of these challenges. We're going to get some more of these books. And then this is what I was kind of finishing, going through and cleaning up the rest of these stages to level them up. So looking here, this again. Now, the reason why we focus on the starter champion is because we do have the quest for him. We do have, and I believe it's in the passes. We have the daily challenges in here, but we also have the apprentice challenges. These are the ones that we want to finish out. You can see getting him right here, rank 5, getting him to 50, the level 5 ascension, getting them to 60 and getting them to rank 6. And then right there, ascend Kale to level 6 of Ascension. Building him out in the entirety is, of course, going to yield a lot of rewards that we want to pick up as a free-to-play player. Absolutely want to be farming those. And again, we're going to be 10 of our diamond mines or our gem mines short. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to unlock the mine today, but definitely first thing tomorrow, as soon as we do get our key refreshes, we're going to unlock that mine and we're going to be able to go through there and get this one done. So, all right, guys, so that is going to do it for the live stream. I'm going to be doing these on a regular basis with the raid. Like I said, I sit down and I play anyways. I do these with AFK Arena. I'm also going to do them with raid. Love doing the live stream. Love to being able to chat with you guys. It's really cool to see, and I'm going to save all of my summons. Again, having the discipline to save your summons, incredibly difficult, but we know long-term, the effectiveness of saving those portals and saving those summons are going to make a really big difference. Now, mystery shards, you can use these whenever you want. You can use them and burn them. Ancient shards and above, they said save them for the events. Again, as we go through here, as we learn exactly what we're doing, we're going to be making more content, going to be covering a lot more. So again, that's going to do it for the stream. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.